Okay, this is the first part of tonight's Corvette video. We think everything is as good as it needs to be to start. We have a battery in, though we're not really confident that we have it mounted the way it should be. At the moment it's just sitting on a stick so that we can get at it. It's really difficult to maneuver the cables in there. I just put the fuse back into the sniper stuff, and I just put the relay in for the fuel pump, because that's our next big thing, is does the fuel system leak? We'll let you know in just a minute. Well, it turns out, yeah, it leaks. It's leaking like a sieve. We got to figure out what we didn't tighten or didn't do right. So yeah, she's got a little puddle. Well, that was pretty easy to find. We hadn't tightened either of those two connections. So I think when we were running that hard line, we kind of test fitted a few times and then completely forgot to tighten it. You got to expect a little bit of that here and there. Okay, we have no idea what's about to happen, but we're going to let that sit and boot. We've already answered the questions. It's been purging air out of the line. We don't hear any more fuel leaks. We don't see or smell any. And I think at this point, there's really no reason to not see what happens. So I'm gonna reach in, hit the key, and holy moly, it got fire. Let's turn her off. Let's turn her back on.
Hey, one thing.
Yeah.
The little clamp on the
Oh, yeah,
headers.
good.
Do we want that?
Yes, we should probably tighten the headers. Good idea. Okay, we now remembered to clamp those. So we're going to go ahead, turn her back on. Okay, we heard the prime shot. I think at this point I want to turn on the multi-gauge sensors here. Okay, there we go. I want that where I can kind of see it. We have stalled. We're in open loop. We're not learning anything. Well, that all makes sense. It's a Corvette, so don't put your hand through the steering wheel. The steering sector might rip your arm off. So let's see what happens. Oh, a little puff of fuel, but it's trying. So, okay, we're getting there. I'll play with it a little bit, and we'll record when we get her running. Well, it's not ideal, but it's getting better. So you can see, it's oh boy, I got a lot of loose belts too. We're gonna have to tighten. But yeah, it's running. It's getting better. It's learning. Whoa. Yeah, she's got a little learning to do. You see, we got oil pressure. Now you can't see it. There we go. We got oil pressure. We got a little fuel. Not a lot of temperature. Battery voltage isn't going to, or charge current isn't really important. So, yeah, I'm going to turn the booster off. And we're going to see what happens if we give her a little throttle. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. Okay, that wasn't too bad for a first start. So, okay. Now we're going to let her cool for a minute and look for leaks, because that's reality. Okay, we're taking the opportunity to go ahead and top the coolant off now that we've had a chance to burp that through. And I think we'll set up for the timing light. I know these belts were a little floppy, but we're not going to worry about them. They were turning, and that's good enough for right now. We will tighten those later. So that's kind of where we're at. letting her cool down a little bit. Okay, you can hear he's almost done filling the cooling system. You can hear all the bubbles coming out of the funnel. I just put the battery on, or you know, the extra battery back on. Let's turn the power back on and wait for her to start. And we're gonna go ahead and just see where things are set on some of the tuning here. So, go tuning. Basic. We're not going anything crazy. Just want to see what the fuel system looks like. 13.5 at idle, 14 at cruise, 12.5. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Fuel prime, yeah. Okay, and 700 RPM is all we set. So we don't have any spark yet. So let's go home. Let's go to monitor. I missed multi-gauge. Go to sensors. Okay, so we're going to place that there. We're going to see if she starts any better. Not yet. Let's try again. Here she's learning how to start the car. And we're dropping wrenches and funnels. So everything's falling because, you know, that's reality. Let's see what fell. Oh, these guys fell here. They were up there. So, yeah, it's going to take some time for her to learn, but she is starting a little better. Considering it doesn't know anything yet, I don't think this is actually that bad. I don't know if that can be read or not. But the air-fuel ratio is pretty close. She's a little fat yet when I accelerate, but of course she is. But no. Yeah, I'm pretty happy right now. We're going to go ahead and shut her down and check the fueling system again. There. Okay, so we're going to kind of do another once over on everything, and we'll try again in a minute. Yeah, we got belts that need tightened, and it doesn't like to start yet, but we're slowly getting there. We're waiting for her to hit temperature so we can tune the throttle position plate. All right, we have opened the throttle blades a lot. So, I think we're getting better starts. Well, I don't like that screen. I like that screen. See? Little better. But now there's going to be a belt squeal here in a second, so we're trying to track that down. Okay. I don't know how well that's showing up, but we're idling right around 680, 700. It's suddenly nice and smooth. The timing's okay. We definitely have a belt squeak that we got to deal with. We'll deal with that in a little while. You know, the important part is it's starting a lot better now. So I can shut her off. And you can hear all the water percolate because we still have air bubbles and probably leaks. Let's be realistic. Okay. Cycle her again. And it's really easy to push the buttons on the camera. So, okay, I had just cycled her. She's at stall. We're watching. Look at that. It's getting better and better. And the timing is right on. No, I'm much happier. The sound isn't crazy, you know, it's reasonable. You know, you're gonna get that little pop because of the nature of this type of header. It's not jumping anywhere near as bad as it was. No, I think it's actually starting to control the fuel. I can't wait until it's also running the timing too, because then the idle will be dead nuts on. But until then, this is a giant improvement. This is a huge improvement. It's starting. It's running. We don't have too many leaks. We have a squeaky belt. We have a brake caliper that leaks, it turns out. So we did order a rebuild kit. We're going to have to split it. Figure out which of those two O-rings has failed. So we bought a whole kit, so it's not going to be a problem. Let's check our oil pressure. Oh yeah, oil pressure at idle is 35 psi. That's more than plenty. I don't like to go for high pressure pumps. I think it's just putting unnecessary stress on the bearings and on the motor for no reason. So yeah, it's running. It's starting to idle. In fact, I don't think it sounds that bad at all. Except for that. We do have that one little problem to deal with yet. But, you know, that's just car crafting. So, and look at that. No dieseling. So, outside of that belt squeal, which, you know, might be this belt sitting down in the groove. I mean, we'll have to look into it. I'm not sure why it's squealing. It's not high on my list right now. Right now, I'm just happy that this just starts right up. So that's the Corvette video for tonight. I know it's been a long, weird road jumping around, but in one evening, we got all the little bugaboos figured out, and she's starting right up now.